Welcome everybody to Two Putts Podcast. I'm Jake Landry.
Nick Huff here.
And took a week off, had vacation, and feels like it's been forever. So I'm really excited to be back. And I'm ready right away, Nick. I don't know if you want to say anything about break or our time off before we go.
No, not really, man. It was good. We kind of took 2 weeks off for the podcast only people. We did put up YouTube video up, but so it feels good to be back into back to start the grind, bro.
Yeah, and Nick even said, like, dude, I don't even know if I could do it this week. And I said, that's how podcasts die. So come on, dude. Let's get it together. So I'm glad you did.
Here we are,
I'm proud of you.
dude.
I'm just letting you know I'm proud of you. I wanted the people and you to know I'm coming in with pride in my heart for you that you showed up. So I appreciate that. No, I appreciate it. I just need people to know that I appreciate it.
The whole pre-pod meeting, I'm playing FIFA, and Jake's trying to talk to me.
I'm like, I'd love you to be engaged here.
Yeah. And I'm like, dude. And I packed 2 fire players, which no one really cares about, but dude, I'm on cloud 9 right now.
Cloud 9. I finally got him engaged.
The issue is I want to play right now instead of do this pod.
Well, okay, great. Well, I can't wait to see how that impacts your responses. But here's what I'm going to say, Nick. Last night we had a little experience at bowling, and it actually started... Honestly, it started months ago because I'm an empath. So we all know I'm not only am I an empath, I'm an anthropologist, a sociologist, and an empath. So I'm tapped into just levels of things going on that are just, it's just different. Okay, it's just different.
The normal person's not tapping into
But don't put a value judgment on it. It's just different. It's not this or that. It's just different. Okay, but here's the thing. I was noticing that like we would get this pizza, the Meatzilla. Okay. And also because let's tell the full story, because our teammate works at the bowling alley. And how long has this season been, Nick? I mean, when did we start? November? October?
Yeah, it had to have been October.
So it's now almost May. And we just found out 2 weeks ago that he gets a 50% discount on the overpriced bowling food. Like the $30 pizza could have been 15. And so, but that's something we're dealing. That actually is more just, I'm saying that to show how forgiving and accepting we are of people making mistakes.
Well, how you are.
Fair enough. Yeah. Nick's not, we're not, but here's what I'll say. I've noticed that when we have gotten that pizza and spent full price on it, which actually I think even supports it, like, Eric just kind of sits there with his fingers folded. He does the finger folded arms on the table. And when someone does that when there's food on the table, it's like maybe they diet, maybe like they've built a gate in front of the food. If you're watching on YouTube, you can see there's a gate in front of the food. And so I noticed the gate months ago. So I just thought Eric was not maybe vegetarian. It's a Meatzilla. I mean, for a vegetarian, that's a nightmare, bro, okay? But last week, we finished the Meatzilla. There's 1 slice left. You and I are tapped out. And he, like, does the ask where I could tell he'd been thinking about asking and been afraid to ask. Nick, I know you feel this way. As an educator, like... It's like when a kid asks you to go to the bathroom where you can tell they held it that you could just go, buddy. Bud. Ask for the piece of pizza. Ask to go to the bathroom. It's okay. You know what I mean?
You know what? See, the thing is, bro, is I do know what you mean, and I wanted to disagree, but what made it so different about Eric is Eric waited for us to clearly be done with the food, and it had been sitting there for 30 minutes.
15 minutes, like 15 to 30 after.
The slice of pizza was cold. And he looked it up. Yeah.
I'm glad you remember this. I'm glad you remember what I'm talking about. Yes. He
looked at us, he's like, are you going to eat it? And we were like, no, dude, go for sure.
Dude, are you saying like it's trash? So sure. You know what I mean? So like, I can't help, my heart in that situation can't help but like the next time be like, I'm making sure this dude knows the moment we're getting food that like, it is yours, dude. So exactly, we had the talk. And this is what it brought. And, you know, we all ate. We had a platter. It was half price. It was delish. And we've mostly here's what I'm going to say. If that dude ends up rich, he definitely owes us at least $75 each for the amount. It's probably closer to like over 100. Like the amount of money that we spent not at 50% where all season he could have said something. That's where we're puzzled. Eric, it was 2 to 3 months of not saying anything as we paid full price like a bunch of suckers. But here's my thing, Nick. If you're someone who gets a platter, I'm not saying you're at a restaurant and you have your own dish, but you're at a happy hour-y thing where you got a pizza, you got a boat of mozzarella sticks, you got calamari, I don't know, Nick, add some wings maybe. If you like with your friends or with your people aren't just like, it's not just like assumed. Like, if you're one of those people who's like, no, that's my food unless I tell you it's okay, I'm not a fan. I'd ask you to reconsider that. Boo.
So my issue, dude, is, like, I eat a lot.
I hate this take. This I'm going to rebel against. Go ahead.
I don't get mad. But, like, I'm always, and my girlfriend's always, like, when someone orders something, it's like, there's 8 mozzarella sticks. Well, I'm immediately like, I need at least 3 to feel okay about like what's happening. But I know in my head that's too many, right? Like,
so there's 8 and you need 3. 4 is 50%, so you need like 38% of the mozzarella sticks to 40.
There's an etiquette. There's an etiquette to doing it though. Like, you can't, like, it's got to be shared, which is. Like, when I see food, dude, I mean, it's a bad day to be edible, is what I'm saying. Like, when I see food. So, dude, I'm going ham on that thing, and I just can't stop. That's why I'm so chubby, bro.
By the way, 37%, 37.5%. I said 38. Pretty impressive math skills there. But
yeah, actually, I will give you that one.
Here's what I'm going to say. I'm with you because I'm the same way, like, but that's where the other side of this is this. Here's what I'll say. If you're someone who doesn't share food because you've been burned by someone who doesn't calculate equal portions, I'm with you. Okay. But don't assume everyone's like that. Okay? Because, okay, Nick, you need 3. How many people are there? How does it break down?
No, exactly.
What's the math situation? But again, like, if you're one of those people who's like, no, like, I'm worried about Eric having to put up the fence. I'm putting up the fence, people. I'm lost for words and I'm putting up the fence. When I saw the demeanor, I felt like, dude, you're in that college state and whoever you're hanging out with isn't sharing their food enough. So let me invite you to try to find another crew.
If he tried to pull that stunt week 3, I'd have been like, dude, who is this guy? But now that we're close enough
That's a fair point. That's a fair point. But we've known it. Think about this. We met Eric in October, and it's been 6 to 7. How many relationships besides your serious ones have lasted as long as we've known Eric? And had our
dude, I'm gonna put it. Dude, Eric's getting invited to the wedding at this point.
I mean, dude. I asked his dad to adopt me on FaceTime and got a straight up no. So, you know.
Yeah.
Not a soft no, a pretty.
It was a firm no, guys.
It
wasn't like, oh no.
And it was joking. It was lighthearted, and it's like, but did you like have to say no though?
He did not answer lighthearted. He looked at you and was like, no.
But everything leading up to it was. But anyway, all right. Let's get. Welcome back, everyone. 2 punts. We're back, baby. So, the NBA playoffs have started. And, you know, the thing about the NBA is the first round is, let's say, sometimes the NBA, the whole playoffs until the finals becomes perfunctory. Let's be honest. Especially Golden State, Cleveland, you know, it's in recent history more than ever. But we are in the first round. There's been ref drama. And that's really where I want to go. So we can talk about the matchups and the different things. But if you are a listener, we had an argument, and I want you to know, Nick, I've been going out and talking to people about UConn and Iowa. Caitlin Clark versus UConn, and is it Paige Buckers? Is that her name?
Beckers.
Becker. I don't think that's what it is, but
there was bet my entire mortgage.
Last possession for UConn, down a bucket. Or were they tied even, maybe? No, I think they were down a bucket. Right, because a 3 could have won it. I think there was like something like 14 seconds left, and there was a screen. A high screen. Not even where the ball was, by the way. And it was called as a foul. Iowa keeps the ball. They get a possession. They get to go up by more than a possession. The game ends. And we had I think, peak 2 putts debate about it. Like, it's never been as good as that moment. And luckily, we got it on video. So if you haven't watched that episode, I don't know what it's called because the names are so random and stupid. But go back and find that because it was great. Nick, I would put you more in the category of purist in terms of refereeing in the game. Is that fair to say? What do I mean by that? Okay. Yeah.
High key an insult. But yeah, what do you mean by
I mean by that what you have said and what you stood by in that podcast, and I can only take you at your word, that's what you said, which is you think the game, and correct me if I'm wrong, should be officiated to the ideal of what the game is. So it doesn't matter what the situation is. The game is the game, and it should be officiated in that way, regardless of any other detail. Like, that's what the game is. There it is.
Yeah, if it's a foul early on, it's typically a foul. It should be a foul at the end of the game.
Well, the sort of thing with penalty kicks, right? Where it's like if it's the 90th minute plus 4 and a team needs it to draw, sometimes I feel like that's a harder penalty to win than, one that comes kind of...
I'll tell you, that's a psychological thing, dude. Because, and this is where we kind of disagreed a little bit when we kind of pre-talked about it, is reffing is a thankless job. If you get every call right, no one cares. Like, no one's gonna be like, wow, dude, great job. Like, Hall of Fame ref. It's like, well, dude, that's what you get paid to do, right? If you make a call, like, you don't want to be talked about in the media and brought up on controversy. That's where the whistles get swallowed. It's not well, is it a foul or not? It's clearly a penalty. It's clearly a foul. They're swallowing the whistle because they don't want to be talked about. Which, in this case that we're talking about, the Knicks Sixers, they swallowed the whistle and they are talked about.
Well, so that is the article that I did pull from because it was, this is game 2. But hold on a second, because I don't necessarily... and I love this. This is a good point to be talking about because I think it's more just like, we're going to let them play. Like, we're going to let them play. It's the playoffs. Like, okay. If you're...
No, but this happens in a regular season game. In a, like, swallowing of the whistle. That always happens.
But here's where I'm going to disagree with you. Like, I think it depends on the sport. It depends. There's a lot of things that go into it. But for me, in general, I think there's precedent. Okay? I don't know if you know this, but when there's court cases that go to the higher courts, the Supreme Court, you look for precedent, Nick. You look for legal precedent. Have there been decisions that help us to use historical examples of this happening for us to make decisions? There is precedent for playoffs having even different rules, slightly. And it's overtime rules. But I still think, like, there is precedent for the idea that playoffs are different and should be treated differently than the regular season.
And they are.
I hear you saying that the reason they are is because of the pressure, but I think we should accept that playoffs
are slowed down.
And it depends on the sport, but physical for sure. I think physical is the thing, right? Like, that's what's going to happen more so because people are going to be fighting in a more intense way. And that's good. Swallow the whistle. Swallow the whistle.
But what I'm saying is, those are rule changes that you're talking about. This is like
it's not rule changes.
But
it's not rule changes. It's thresholds.
No, but
it's thresholds.
Because
thresholds.
Your examples are the ghost runner on second base, the overtime. It doesn't go into shootouts, and overtime in hockey, it goes into another overtime. If there's going to be the rule change is fine, but if you're going to do that, the official's job is to keep the game within the rules, right? So yes, the rule changes are good, but technically, and this does not happen because it's playoff basketball and playoff hockey and playoff baseball. Well, baseball, not so much. It's a striker ball typically. But, like, it should be officiated very similarly, if not the same, because the fouls are still the same fouls. Like, I can't go up to you and put two hands on you. But in the playoffs, you get away with it a little more, which I think is good for the game, but make that a rule change.
But let's stay with the NBA for right now, because this is where I want to talk about threshold. Like, in terms of... Because here's the thing. The NBA is becoming as bad as soccer. People don't like soccer before this really recent phenomenon of soccer being more popular because, they're always flopping around all over the place. We've heard that for the last 10 to 15 years of people who aren't, they're always on the ground. There's too many fouls called. The NBA is second of the flopping. They are. Agree or disagree? Can we just, for that one real quick?
I agree. Yeah.
Okay. So, because of that, and here's the thing, there's inevitable contact. Basketball leads to inevitable contact, just like soccer. And there are times, and again, let's remove soccer. Let's just stay on basketball. It's about the threshold of contact that makes it a foul. And when and this is the other thing with the NBA, we know in the last 3 to 5 years we've seen it. Because we have to bring this in. The NBA is going to make more money with more games. Forget about who wins, or it's not about that. The more games, the more money. Period. It's just how it is. It is in their interest for series to go as long as they can. If every series goes to 7 games, the NBA makes the most profit possible. And that's what it's about. So we know that there's been games where Scott Foster, who has been implicated, involved, and admitted guilt in the things, the really bad NBA stuff from the 90s with David Stern, game fixing, gambling, all that stuff. Scott Foster has survived all that. He's resilient in that way. Give him credit. He's also the extender. That is what he is. Nick, yes?
For those of you who don't know, that's
yes,
his nickname as a referee.
Is this valid, what I'm saying?
Oh, typically in a series that in a closeout game, which is one of the teams has 3 wins, and they need a 4th to win, Scott Foster oftentimes will be the referee in that next game, and his nickname is the extender because he typically favors calls to the team that has the worst record. Right. And there's data, you can go look into it, but I don't want to throw any conspiracy.
But this is what. But no. But it is supported. Like it is. Yes. And here's what I'm saying: the Lakers right now are 3-0 down to Denver. Don't be shocked if Scott Foster is on the next game.
Here's what I'll tell you, dude. Even if Scott Foster's there, bro, they ain't winning. It's a sweep.
I agree. I mean, the Nuggets are that good. Trust me. I've made sure to capitalize on that fact. But here's the thing: is that sets up a precedent for a different type of refereeing based on the situation and a knowledge of that. Like, I'm sorry, but if you're going to sit there and be what? Like, the NBA knows what they're doing. So in that sense, they open up the conversation of refereeing should be different. So what really made me frustrated, so the Knicks and it was crazy, dude. And I'm going to tell you, like, I'm going to be straight up. I had a couple dollars on the Knicks, was pissed when it was like I'm going to tell you straight up. 45 seconds left. They're down by 7. I turned off the game. 45 minutes later, I look at my account and I go, where did that come from? What? And then I went back and looked at everything. The fact that the Knicks came back like they did was incredible. But here's the thing. There was a 2-minute report released. Jalen Brunson grabbed Tyrese Maxey's jersey. It says, I'm reading from the report, in Game 2 of their first-round playoff series Monday night, the NBA ruled that Tyrese Maxey was fouled multiple times during the game's frenetic defining sequence, and that 76ers coach Nick Nurse called for a timeout, but the referees didn't see it. The league said Jalen Brunson grabbed Maxey's jersey before the ball was inbounded after Brunson's three-pointer cut Philadelphia's lead to 2, and that Josh Hart then bumped Maxey as he caught the inbounds pass, sending him falling to the ground. Guys. And
you're going to get mad, dude. And that play, watched it, because when you sent me the article, I said I didn't watch the play yet. It was a foul. You cannot, and it's the same thing as UConn, and I don't want to make the same thing, but you can't, dude, you're going to have to bleep this out. You can't hump him into the out-of-bounds line, dude. You can't do it.
I'm not bleeping it.
So, yeah, of course Tyrese Maxey has to throw it randomly because he's like, dude, I just got pushed. And it wasn't a flop. That was a foul, 100%, and the ref should have called it, 100%.
But here's what I'm going to say, is that I love it. Like, I hear you, but because it's all about instinct. And this is where we're going back. Like, I didn't like what you initially said about the pressure and this and that. I hope instead of that being the point, that it was more like, you know what? I'm going to let it play. And you know what? They had to make 2 crazy threes. And if there were some plays where the ref said, I'm going to swallow instead of blowing, that is a better product. And Philly had the chances. But this is what I'm saying. Dante DiVincenzo missed his first 3. Okay, so like, I understand, Nick, but this is what I'm gonna say. The ends of these games are chaotic, and they should be allowed to be. And look, you can't be throwing bows and punching people, but like that ending, like the only way. Here's what I'm gonna say: the only way that can truly happen, that comeback, is if those things happen. And again, if Scott Foster can come in and make a game unwatchable because of the over-officiating, to then make it so that we have a wasteful game that we don't even want to watch, then I want games like that when we swallow the whistles and we're just like, let them play, baby. Let them play it out. As long as they're not slugging each other, I'm good.
Yeah, dude, here's the thing. I've watched you play defense before.
Wow.
And you would foul out so fast that you would be a liability on the team.
But this
so of course you like the refs following the whistle.
But that's basketball fouls are soft. They need to change the threshold in general then. It's a soft sport. That's what it is. It's a soft sport.
It is. But again, it's the ref's job. Dude, no. I don't think we'll ever agree.
Oh my gosh.
It's the ref's job to keep the game within the rules. That's their job. When someone, and he didn't throw a fist, but he literally ran up and just ran into him, that's a foul, bro. Like, and I know they had to hit crazy shots and whatever, but that 3 that after that foul should have never happened. There should have been free throws because that was, and even with your threshold meter, like that was a foul. Because I agree. I don't know how they'll get it, but I do agree that the physicality threshold of a foul in the playoffs, because the regular season, whatever, you don't want, like, again, the NBA is a business. You don't want players getting hurt. You want the players to stay healthy as possible. So you, like, ticky-tack fouls, whatever, in the regular season, okay. But in the playoffs, I agree. The physicality level needs to threshold needs to go up on those fouls, but there needs to be a league-wide discussion on, like, hey, look, because it's almost an unwritten rule. Like when you get into the playoffs, it's physical. It's different.
And as it should be. But that's how it should be.
No, and I agree with that. But there needs to be like a league-wide meeting that's officially like, look, in the playoffs, this is the threshold. Like, if it's not there, it's not a type thing. You know what I mean? Like, it's a business. You're right, because the NBA does want it to go 7. But no, I disagree, dude. I think it's the ref's job is to follow what's legislatively written, and
ugh. God,
dude, that's their job.
You're the worst. I can't even with that. All right,
but I'll tell you this, dude.
Yeah.
Dude, you want to be a ref, dude, and Scott Foster gets death tweets every day, dude. I mean, we'll be there once we're famous enough on Two Putts Pod, but
great, can't wait for that.
I know you won't be able to handle them.
I will not. Yeah, you'll be the one fielding the death threats.
No, but dude, in all seriousness, like refs, at the end of the day, it's a thankless job. It's like a kicker in the NFL. It's like, dude, well, you should have made it. That's the one thing you're supposed to do.
But here's what I'm gonna say. Here's what I'm gonna say. For the NBA, less whistles. I'll never complain. Even if it's my team. No more whistles.
Well, here's what
I'm gonna tell you, dude. Cut the whistles in half.
Adam Silver is trying to get some rules taken out because the offense, the points are too high. So hopefully next year, a couple of years from now, it'll be better. That's Adam Silver's goal.
Let's hope, because so the point is, Adam Silver agrees with me. Great way to end that segment. Well done. So here's what the thing.
No, Adam Silver doesn't know. It's because
that's what you just said. So we'll take that.
No,
here's what I'm gonna tell you. No, we're moving on. It's cool.
He doesn't agree with you, dude. It's because oh my god, just go.
Exactly.
No,
it's because I already knew we were there.
Offenses have gotten so complex that defenses can't catch up, so they need those things of the hand checking to push off and like do all those things to actually be able to stop these offenses.
I'm telling you, right. So offenses are so complex. So like shooting random threes or getting fouled really easily because of a bunch of flopping, so they get a bunch of free throws.
This is where I'm about to throw my headphones across the room, bro. This is where I know you don't know basketball, because go watch a set. Go watch a Nuggets set, dude.
No, the Nuggets are legit.
Even a Celtics set, and I know you hate Joe Mazzulla, but even a Celtics set, dude, that's one of the most, dude, 90% of the time, dude, they run a very, very good set. You're just watching the ball. You're not watching everyone else. I'll tell you that. And that's a diss to you because you're disrespecting me. I'm pissed off.
Two Putts Podcast is brought to you by Bad Calls. I mean, did you see that? Can you believe that? What do they think? I can't even. The whole game is Bad Calls.
Well, let's talk about something that pissed me off today. So, we had the NFL draft. We're not going to go too deep into it, but one of the players that I was really interested in, Nick, was Michael Penix. No, I was really interested in Penix.
I thought you were talking. I thought you were going to bring.
What? Oh, no. We're not doing that. No. We're not going to talk about Drake May because I don't think it's appropriate. But let's just say that I've
just cut it.
Yeah, let's cut it. Let's just go from there. Cut it. Yeah, it's good, guys, but it's not pod worthy.
Well, Michael Penix, bro.
Yeah, Michael Penix got picked by Atlanta, and for those of you who don't know, first of all, let's take a step back. Kirk Cousins, drafted by the Washington football team now, but at the time's Redskins. And he was actually drafted. He was the second quarterback drafted the year that RGB was drafted. And if you've never watched the Netflix quarterback documentary that they released, I have to say, Nick, it's fantastic. And we've all watched things, with this content world that we're in that are probably out of our comfort zone. So even if you think you don't watch it, I'm going to tell you the production value. Quarterback is terrific. You should watch it. It's really good. And here's the thing. Kirk Cousins is a great dude. Like, that's what comes across, and I believe it sincerely. I think Kirk Cousins is genuinely a good guy. And there's been this story today. So Kirk Cousins signed a 4-year, $180 million deal moving to Atlanta from the Vikings this offseason. And then they drafted Penix, who was the 6th quarterback drafted, or was Bo Nix the 6th? And maybe Penix was the 5th. But Penix
it was the 8th overall, man.
Yeah, Penix has some major injury concerns. He's had ACL issues. He's had shoulder issues. But he has a freaking cannon, dude. Like, if he becomes what he could be, he's going to be really good. But also, he could completely just fizzle out. It could be really bad. So there was this story today that things are awkward in Atlanta now because they paid Kirk Cousins for 4 years.
Of course it is, dude.
And now they drafted Penix. But here's the thing. Jordan Love is a great example with your Green Bay Packers. Like, if Penix is going to sit for 2 to 3 years to develop, what's the problem here? Like, if Kirk Cousins... I mean, is Kirk Cousins going to be good 2 to 3 years from now?
Dude, I'll tell you what the problem is. First off, the Jordan Love, as great as he's been in the moment, was a horrible pick, right? We're in a win now situation with Aaron Rodgers, and that wide receiver class, I don't remember exactly what year, but it was loaded. And the fact that we didn't get a wide receiver for Rodgers was horrible, and it was awkward. Like, Aaron Rodgers was pretty much like, WTF, dude? Like, what are we doing here? Kirk Cousins, and he had been with Green Bay for obviously years at this point, and he was the franchise quarterback, won a Super Bowl, whatever. Kirk Cousins just signed. They're like, you're our future, right? With the 8th overall pick, you're going to sit here and, like, if I was Kirk Cousins, I'd be like, dude, you're already drafting my replacement? Are you serious? Like, I know that Kirk Cousins is a good guy, and I'm sure they've talked and whatever.
They did talk.
But I believe that it's awkward. I believe that it's awkward because Kirk Cousins is like, dude, use the 8th overall pick to draft a player who's not going to help this team right now when you sign me to win now. You know what I mean?
But Atlanta's they got Bijan Robinson, they got Drake London, they got some Tyler Algier, they got some players, dude.
There was an offensive tackle who was really, really good. And let me tell you, I think he'll be a Hall of Famer. But there were other positions. There were, like, it's never bad to have another wide receiver, you know? So it's a pick that made no sense. And Kirk Cousins is obviously the ultimate professional, so he'll take Michael Penix under his wing, I'm sure, and work with him and teach him and do all that stuff. But it's a situation that never should have happened because Atlanta never should have even thought about drafting a quarterback.
See, but I feel like this is like one of those moments where people are like, well, you don't really know anything about sports, but like I don't see it. I don't think it has. I think this is a media created story. I don't buy this. I don't.
Well, the story maybe, but I'm telling you, like, I'm not a draftologist, and I never will claim to be. But typically, when you sign someone to $180 million guaranteed, you don't draft a quarterback in the first round. Typically, because you're like, oh, we don't need one.
All right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I do. All right, well, let's go for non-sports for a minute. So I want you to define this for us. We've, over our time, done new age terms and things, and Nick helps us understand them better, helps me understand them better. Explain gatekeeping to me. I'm trying to understand gatekeeping because I thought we were talking about music. Or no, we were talking about, and honestly, what I understand is that, and unfortunately, when a girl says she likes something, often a dude will respond, well, tell me 3 things about that. Oh, I love the Baltimore Orioles. Oh yeah, name 3 players. That's gatekeeping. Where does it extend? Because I'm a little confused on what gatekeeping is and how it works.
So gatekeeping, it's like you're kind of denying access. Like Eric gave a good example yesterday. It was, you see someone with a Nirvana shirt, we'll name 3 Nirvana albums.
Right.
I mean, okay, dude, I
you're not allowed to wear the shirt unless you have a certain amount of knowledge.
Yeah. So that's gatekeeping, but then there's also the gatekeeping in, like, for instance, you play a wonderful song and you're like, yo, what band is that? And you're like, dude, I'm not going to tell you. Like,
But
or,
do people actually do that?
Yes, bro.
You've seen, so you're telling me that someone would play you a song and you and they put it on
maybe
for
not
you.
That serious. Maybe not that serious, but like, oh, we found a really good like clothing store that's cheap, and they don't want everyone to go to it. Well, where is it? Well,
do
why would I
people
tell
actually
you?
do that? That's wild.
For real. But so Jake's confusion is he thinks he gatekeeps music, but he doesn't gatekeep it because like he'll put you onto anything. Like he'll be like, dude, you gotta listen to this, you gotta listen to that, you gotta listen to this.
But
what
I create
Jake
a hostile environment.
That's what I was gonna say. You create a hostile environment where, and here's a great example. He was like, Nick, I really want to know what kind of music you like. And I was like, dude, I just kind of like vibey music. I don't really think you'll like it, but I'll play you a song. And literally 5 seconds into the song, he goes, I know exactly how this song is going to go. It's going to do this, this, and this. And I'm like, well, you're right. But he's like, I hate it. And I was like, oh, well, okay, cool.
Whatever. Was this Matt? What was it? Big
Yeah.
Matt,
and I was like, dude, that's what I'm trying to tell you. Like my music is like today would have been a great day for my music. Like windows down, 70 degrees, like sunset going on, just kind of listening to music, chilling. That's my vibe. And the music I listen to is very predictable.
Dude, because long story short, I was talking about taking off days on Friday, and I was like, if I was in charge of a school, like, he goes, let me pause right there. If you were in charge of a school, you'd create a hostile work environment. And I was like, what? Damn. That was deep, dude. That was a deep cut.
Dude, it was the way you said it. You're like, if you took a day Friday, like there would be a huge talking to.
Well, here's what I'm gonna say, Melanie. So I cook 95% of the time, and she said something. I went, well, I'm the better cook. And she said, come on, I'm a better cook than you. If we were asked to cook the same thing for two people, for people, they would pick me. And I'm kind of like, as I really thought about it, it might be right, dude. My walls are falling down, dude. Because I think I would create a very hardworking, positive environment. But clearly with music, I haven't fostered that with you. I feel badly.
No, but yeah, I mean, it is tough because we like completely different music. Like, it's not like, I mean, you played something the other day that was kind of vibey.
I sent it to you. Some Steely Dan, Bad Sneakers.
Yeah.
I had 7 other ones I wanted to send to you too. Well, so I'm an anti-gatekeeper, but I guess
toxic.
God, that's like the worst thing you can be these days.
Well, dude, only in specific areas like running a school and music.
What about as podcast manager?
Dude, I mean, you just let me be the talent. It took me 10 seconds to find a YouTube video today.
Yeah, I was really proud of you when you were able to do that. So, going back to officiating, a separate thing. Sometimes last year I bought the MLB package. It was great. It was like $100 and something, but I was like, I decided last year not to do summer school. So I was like, I'm just going to watch a bunch of baseball. It was great. But now I don't have it this year. I'm like, we'll see if I'm going to get it. And so I am literally on the ESPN app watching the game. And they have the strike zone and you're just watching kind of the pitches populate. And when you see a pitch that's like a foot outside of the zone and it's comes in red as a strike, you're like, guys, it's time to get rid of umpires. And here's what I'm going to say. Okay, Boomer kind of went away, but I think there's things that we can put in that bucket. And umpires in baseball is kind of an okay Boomer thing. Okay, Boomer, but we don't need that. If we just had computerized umpires, say what you want about the game, it would be more consistently called. And I think it's time for that. Like, I think, like, the idea has come out. We've had a couple seasons now. Last season, it was, like, something that I felt like was really talked about. And now it's like, guys, if it works and it's not wonky, it's time to make that change. I really think, Nick. I'm wondering what you think about this.
So they test a lot of things in the minor leagues, and one of the things they're testing right now is challenging balls and strikes.
Hate it.
I think it's unlimited. I think it's unlimited challenges as long as you get them right. I think. And here's the thing, and this is where, like, I think I would have 100% agreed with you 2 years ago, but I've matured as a baseball fan, and maybe
Ew.
I'm like old school as a purist. But here's what I'll say is, if they're consistent, now that's a big if, because, like, umpires are known. There's hitters umpires and there's pitchers umpires, right? Just like there's hitter parks and there's pitchers parks. So some umpires have a bigger zone. As long as they're consistent in the calls, I don't think anyone will complain, and it adds a little wrinkle to the game that, like, may be frustrating for someone who doesn't really watch it like you, and someone who really understands it like me. No, but I'm serious. I think umps add a personality to it. Here's the thing, though. If they're going to keep being this bad, because this year, I feel like they've been really bad this year. If they're going to keep being this bad and this inconsistent, they need to be checked. They can't, because these umps are Supreme Court justices, dude. As soon as they make it to the pros, they're never gone. And Angel Hernandez is a great example. Like, he's horrific. And the fact that he still gets to come in and umpire these games, when you're, not only is your strike zone bad, it's inconsistent. So, like, the hitters can't even adjust because it's, well, that's a strike. That's a ball, my first at bat, but now it's a strike. So if there needs to be a system in where umpires can get, like, relegated to the minors. Like, after a week.
But there's only one real way to do this, and that's computerized technology.
No.
Otherwise,
agree,
it's just not possible to get full
I agree,
consistency.
but like that.
I like what you're. First of all, I do watch the game. You and so I do enjoy. Yeah, sure, I get it, but, like, for me, an ump should call. Like, here's the thing: I don't trust a human to do most anything nowadays. So why would I trust them to call a baseball game? The ball's coming in 100 miles an hour. It's a big ask. I'm so glad you could carry the weight for so long. You've been excused. We found your replacement. I'm sorry. It's just time to, like, here's the thing.
Well,
there's the line. Hold on. There's the line judge in soccer, right?
Hold on.
There's the line judge in soccer. They're still out there, but ultimately they don't call offsides anymore. They're told to wait to call offsides. You know why? Because the VAR does it for them. And if you're going to call it wrong, let the play go. In a couple years, we won't even need line judges. But you know what? We don't want to have mass unemployment. So you know what? Sorry, umpires. I don't need you. You need us. I don't need you. This isn't charity, Nicholas. It's not. Go ahead.
I mean, I will say I follow this umpire report on Twitter, and I mean, the average correct call rate and consistency rate is like 96%.
Wait, what did you say, 93?
96.
That's not very good.
Jeez Louise.
No, I mean, it's not bad, but...
Here's what I'll say, dude. The strike zone you see on ESPN is not 100% correct. I want you to know that.
Again, here's what I'm going to say. Okay, fine. Not that good. Okay, fine. But, like, what would...
Coming from someone who plays StarCraft, you'd think you'd like a little extra strategy in there. Knowing the strike zone of the
wow,
you know?
Pulling out StarCraft
like
to try to get to me. Again, I just... It's the throwing out coaches It's just so much extra theater. Baseball just doesn't need it. Pitch clock, computerized umps, and now we have a sport and not a theater performance. It's too theatrical. Enough. We're not at the G-darn theater house, Nick.
Yo, but dude, you're telling me you don't like a good umpire ejection here and there?
Here's what I'm going to tell you. Sometimes you have to do things to elevate your status, and Frosted Tips, when I was in 7th grade, was part of it.
Dude, that, first off, horrible segue. Horrible segue.
I feel like, I don't know what time we're at, but I know it's been a long time.
Frosted Tip, no. Dude, when you told me that you got Frosted Tips, I instantly knew you were not on the in crowd in high school.
First of all, we're talking middle school. Frosted Tips were middle school, not high school. Thank God.
Dude.
So I deleted Instagram, and here's the thing we know. My comments are still gaining traction, but if I got another suggested reel, and I had been putting not interested, I had been putting makes me uncomfortable, I had been putting offensive material, and yet I'm still getting hot dog buns over and over again. Just all up in my face. And it's like, thirst trap, thirst trap, thirst trap. Can you please stop? I was looking at your algorithm last night at bowling, and I'm like, dude, I wish I could take your algorithm 5 flicks in on the reels. I was like, oh my lordy. I'm telling you what, it's a swamp, bro. You manage the Instagram, I'll jump on from here or there. I'm out. For those reasons, I'm out, big guy.
Dude, well, actually, now that's a good segue
into Shark Tank, which we've been watching. Yeah, go ahead.
Here's the thing. Jake's been watching a lot of Shark Tank. I dabbled in Shark Tank when it was popular and relevant. So you'll see us on Shark Tank soon. We're not sure when, but we're going to try.
Trying to figure out our valuation.
We'll take. You can have 100% of our company for $50. We just needed gas.
No, we need more than 50.
Barbara.
We need more than 50. We'll get
500.
I love Barbara. I have an issue with your issues with her, but again, I just think that's where I have reached a elevated state that you and I we're both on peaks, creating bridges for each other to get to the other's peak. And your peak doesn't include the admiration for someone like Barbara like my peak does. That was actually pretty good. You should write that down.
That made absolutely no sense.
Some people are going to hear that and steal that for their book. So you're welcome for whoever takes that.
If you write, patent pending. If you copyright pending, whatever. If you watch Shark Tank, you know Barbara's the worst. You know it.
I love her. All right, listen. Here's what we're going to do. If you're listening to the pod, bye-bye. It's been great to see you.
Love you.
We had a great time. Hope you had a great time. It's been a poop show. We love you. Follow us on Instagram. We're back. Back with a fury, I might add. And if your video, we're about to transition to our visual element. So here we go. All right, so here we are. We have, again, I decided we'd do a 3-part refereeing / umpiring thing. So we led with referees in the NBA. We talked about umpires, and now we're going to watch this video. It is 10 most controversial calls in sports history, and Nick is going to uphold, obviously, because this is how he is, the purity of the game, and I'm going to talk about, well, I don't know. I have no idea what we're about to watch. Let's see. Here we go. Pacquiao. Okay, interesting. Oh my God.
Kellerman?
Is that the guy? That's Max Kellerman? Wait, I can't hear the video. What's going on? Oh.
Just turned it up.
There you go.
To watch also, dude.
All right, blown calls.
Oh.
Green Bay.
Now this was a bad call too. Oh, this is when the referees went on strike. You remember this?
Wait,
replacement refs.
What year? Well, okay, when was this though? Is this Russell Wilson?
Yeah.
Okay, so Russell Wilson was quarterback, so Aaron Rodgers was quarterback on the other team?
Yeah.
Okay.
And Clay Matthews. Watch. Dude, so
it looks like it's yeah, okay, go ahead.
Technically, after like further review, they ruled it. This should have been called an interception.
I mean, it's clear at this point, just right here. It's clear that it's more in his possession than his possession. Look at his.
But watch the refs. This is important. Watch the referees here.
Whoa. First of all, if we just look, let me go back for a second. I mean, look at this here. I mean, right here, you can see he clearly has leverage on him with the ball. Because look, that move right there. You see what I'm saying? He clearly has the ball.
Yeah, but
the Packers have the
ref,
ball.
One is calling a touchdown. One is calling a touchback.
So this is the touchback and this is the touchdown.
Yeah. Like, it's like two idiots going at it.
That's
Pete Carroll, dude. I hate that guy. I want to kick that dude in the kneecap.
Wow.
I hope that dude has to run. What?
All right. Do you want to finish? Sorry. Go ahead. If you want to talk about this.
Oh, it's all good. I hate Pete Carroll, dude. This is Thierry Henry, dude. That's my guy right there. He didn't do anything wrong. Literally.
Okay, so ball in. Maybe a handball. Oh, geez.
That's a handball, dude.
It looked like it was. Oh, I mean, look, it just bounced off the wrist right here. I agree.
Dude, VRR would have caught this.
Oh, Lord.
Eddie Loki was offside.
Ugh,
good for him.
Yikes. Okay, but that's an egregious handball. And I'll say this really quick, like while we've just been having these talks, VAR, I'm sorry, has made soccer better. And if you don't feel that way, I just think you're completely wrong. Like, completely wrong.
Oh, this is crazy. Watch the fan here, dude.
No.
Clearly fan interference.
No, hold on.
Look.
But
knocks it over, dude.
So he doesn't jump, but you're saying he doesn't need to because the angle at which he reaches at cuts off what would have just been
caught. Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, let's watch.
But he doesn't jump. I just have because I've never seen this before, but before we get there, like I just, if you look at it, like he's thinking it's coming down here, but you're trying to say it's going to come here? Like, I don't know about this.
Well, that's why it's a controversial call. That kid's a legend in New York history.
This was game, this was a deciding game?
No. It was game one of the ALDS.
I'm sorry. The play that he was making on the ball, you think that's fan interference?
Yeah.
I disagree. If they make contact, it's interference. But he didn't go for it like that. No.
He reached over the fence.
Not really. Not as much as you're making it sound like.
Not really. It's still reaching over.
He's barely over the
making
fence.
Out with a girl.
He's barely over the fence, bro.
That's barely over.
God, you're the worst. Let's go to a game together. I'm going to hate it. I can't wait.
I'm not going to a game with you.
Wait, really?
I'd go to a game.
Thanks.
Only if there's no controversial calls.
Yeah, seriously. I don't get the tuck rule because this is a clear fumble, right?
Not at the time. He was tucking the ball.
Was
he? That's
let me watch it again in real time.
According to the letter of the law, this is the right call.
I feel like he was pumping. Is he pumping or is he tucking or is that the same thing?
I think it was the same thing in the rule book.
Okay, but so even though he's pumping, like he's not tucking to run. I mean, that's for sure. Right?
I think.
But wait, because he was tucking, it's not a fumble?
Yeah.
Is this a fumble now? Nowadays, is it a fumble?
Yeah. This rule got cut out as soon as pretty much after the season was done.
You know what? This is a messed up. But this is the first Patriots one, right? Or is this the second? Oh, it's 2002. So this is the second.
I think it's I think it's one.
Oh, 2001.
I mean, technically, that's a tuck.
Oh, that is so bad. I'm sorry, that's a terrible call. Oh, okay. Ooh.
He pushes off. Doesn't cross him over. Watch.
I don't know. It looked really good.
This is a foul. This is an offensive foul.
Okay, let me watch it one more time.
Watch his left hand.
Okay. Going to our conversation earlier, I have no problem with what I just saw. If I'm this ref standing right here, I don't care what slow-mo shows me, Nick. Because slow-mo changes everything. So fine, I'm sure slow-mo is going to make it look worse. But I'm telling you, based on what I just saw, for the first time, I have no problem with it. I have no problem with it.
For the replay.
Oh, that is a light push off, Nick.
I'm taking my headphones.
Nick.
Are you serious?
Nick.
Dude.
Nick.
I'm running this way, dude, and I just do a quick push.
It's one hand. It's one hand, dude.
Light push. That's a foul.
Nick.
It's a foul. I can't hear you. My headphones are up. That's a foul.
Nick. It's one. Nick. It's one hand, and it is. If we're talking about the threshold, that's it right there.
Here we go.
If we're talking about the threshold, no, that is not that. Like that is permissible contact. No.
That's a push off and a half.
No.
Wish he missed that. Still up in the air, they said.
No.
Yeah.
He overcommitted. The defender overcommitted. He didn't get pushed. He overcommitted. That's the story. You're wrong. You are wrong.
Skip this. No one cares about boxing.
Clear out. I mean, is it even... It's so bad. But dude, why could, like, if they had those replays right then, Like, this is my thing, and this is what does bother me. When the replay is so clear. Guys. Can't we just do the right thing here? Like, can't we just flout whatever the rules are and say, like, there's actually a video that shows it, so, like, let's just, like, move on. And that's how I feel with the computer umps. Like, let's just like fix this. It will take 5 minutes. Like, stop. Jeez. Be mature. Grow up. Everyone, just grow up. Stop. Please. No. Oh, wow. Okay. Wow. Okay. Rude.
They didn't, dude, because at this point, the baseball was still very, like, proper and prim and all that. Hand of God?
Yeah, exactly. Hand of God. Yeah. Oh, Maradona was so freaking good.
No, he used to be in FIFA.
Oh, is he? See,
that's a header.
Yeah, dude, I appreciate that because every time I watch this, I think it's a header. I'm gonna be honest. Like, if VAR reversed that goal, I'd almost have a problem with it. Like, I'm sure that it is a handball, but just watching it again in real time, like,
I mean,
at this,
you pause it.
I mean, tell me this ain't the best pause right here. I got no issue with it. That's it? But that's what I was going to say. That's the only footage there is. Like,
oh, there's a different footage because I've seen it.
Let's see if we can find it real quick. Oops.
Do not.
Maybe it's too much. I feel like you've lost your steam. I feel like you're upset because ultimately I've been proven right on the referee.
Oh my God!
Is that not how we're all gonna walk away from this?
I mean, that's how you're gonna walk away, but that's not how I'm gonna walk away. I'm gonna walk away with my head held high, knowing I'm right.
You know what? I'm happy for you. I'm happy for you. Well, everyone else, thank you so much for tuning in. It's been a great comeback week. And we'll see you next week. Two Putts Pod.
Peace.